Hi, my love. It's me, Lakeisha from LakeishaCorbett.com, and I am so excited to be here with you. It is Tuesday, and today we're going to be talking all things abandonment. Now, I know that this is a touchy subject for a lot of you. You experience certain things in your childhood that you rather not discuss, you try to avoid, you try to disassociate yourself with, and I'm here to tell you that all of those coping mechanisms, all of those coping techniques are not healthy and actually hindering you from having amazing, beautiful, healthy relationships in adulthood. So I'm going to give you some personal examples from my life just so that you understand what I'm talking about. So I am the third child of my parents together, and right after I was born, my parents broke up. So ultimately, that led me to believe, without whatever, right? So that led me to believe that, men leave, right? That I can just be abandoned. It made me feel like it was a personal attack on me, right? Because how were they able to stay together for the other children, but somehow me, right? Lakeisha, soon as I am here in this world, it's all done. You can't figure out how to make it work anymore, and, whatever. They break up. So a lot of anger and guilt I put on myself, right? Because I very much felt like it was my fault and that I deserved to be abandoned, that I wasn't someone worth sticking around for because my dad actually wasn't in my life. We don't really have that much of a relationship together. Well, not the one that I would hope. And a lot of that really affected me as an adult. But I didn't realize that when I was younger, right? I didn't realize that in my adulthood, but it was very much a big thing in my childhood. So my mom had a string of boyfriends, well, not a string, but there were two prominent boyfriends that she had, and it ultimately didn't work out. And my mind used that as validation, right? So I was like, there we go again. Look at that. Another relationship not working out. Another person just abandoning me, never to be seen or heard from again. These people, they come into your life. They say, I love you. They say, I care about you. They say, I'm here for you. But boom, things don't work out the way that they want, and they're gone. Not even batting an eye, right? They're just out the door, poof, gone. And my psyche was just not ready to handle that. I was not prepared for, especially men just leaving my life, going, in and out of my life, especially people who said that they loved me. So now fast forward to when it's time for me to start dating, I ultimately feel like I needed to make the other person happy at the expense of myself, because I was afraid of being abandoned. I was afraid of their love being ripped away from me, right? I was afraid of it being taken away if I did something that upset them. And I didn't want to feel rejected and abandoned all over again, right? Because I had went through enough of that. And I felt like there was something wrong with me. I felt like it was a personal thing with me. Although I saw things happening to other people and my friends having issues with men and things like that, I very much felt it was personal. It was a personal attack. That everyone else was going to find love, but I was going to be a lonely Spencer who men just left. No matter how hard I tried, no matter what I did, I felt like men were going to leave me. Put a 1 in the comments if this is making any sense to you or if you can relate, right? Or maybe your abandonment fears are different, right? Maybe they manifested for you in a different way. Maybe your father was there, but he worked all the time, so you didn't really get that much time and attention. You didn't really have that father-daughter bond. You weren't daddy's little girl. So you have a fear of abandonment, that work is always going to be more important, that there are always more important things than you, right? Abandonment issues can stem from a lot of different experiences in our childhood, and whatever unique experience that is for you, whatever pain you experienced and went through, it doesn't change the fact that it manifests into your adult relationships if you don't handle it head on once and for all. And the moment when I really realized that this was an issue for me was when I started to have problems in my friendships. So for example, my best friend, right? So she would go through these spurts where her life was not the best, and she would just stop returning my text messages. So like I would write her and I'd be like, hey girl, good morning, hope you have a good day. And then like 6 hours would go by and I wouldn't have a reply from her. And it would be like, And then I'd like get on Instagram and I'd see her posting on Instagram and I'd be like, okay, let me text her again. And I would like write her again and be like, hey girl, what you doing, or something like that, whatever. And she went right back. And then I remember there was a day where like 72 hours went by and she didn't write me back. And I had wrote her a message and I was just like, hey, is there anything that like I did wrong, that I did to upset you? And during the course of that 72 hours, I was wrecking my brain like, oh my God, maybe I did something to hurt her. She's going to abandon me. She's going to leave me. She says that she loves me. She says that she's my friend, that we're always going to make it through, thick and thin, we're like blood, right? All these things. But somehow days have gone by and she didn't return my messages. And in that moment, I felt abandoned. I felt rejected. I felt like there was something wrong with me. And finally we had a conversation about it. And I was just like, I remember saying to her, and I was just like, well, I totally understand that like you're going through something and you need space, you need your moment, but you need to text me and let me know that because you're posting on Instagram. And she's like, yeah, but Instagram is a distraction and like I can't run from you. If we have a conversation, I'm going to break down and blah, blah, right? And in that moment, I truly felt like I don't understand why she couldn't just send me a text message and just be like, hey, I need some space, or, I'll hit you up in a couple days. I just need to take a break, right? In that moment, I didn't sympathize with the fact that she was going through something and she needed space. And I was pressuring her to respond to my messages. I was pressuring her to do something that didn't feel comfortable for her. And I was making my needs and my own fears and my insecurities, right? And I was placing those things onto her and onto our friendship. And as the words came out of my mouth, I was just like, but why couldn't you just text me and tell me that? I just don't understand, right? And I literally was just like, damn, Lakeisha, like, what's going on with you? Like, what's happening in your energy? We're in this moment. Your friend is going through something and you're not taking this opportunity to be there for her, to ask her what's going on, to ask her how you can best support her. You're making this moment about you, right? It was a very like, I don't want to say narcissistic thing to do, but it was very much just like a victim-y thing to do, right? Like I needed to flip the script and I needed to make it all about me, right? And that was my fear of abandonment, my fear of rejection, my fears and my insecurities that something was wrong with me, that people who love me are going to leave, right? So I decided to do tapping around it and it was fucking incredible, right? I cried for like a day around that tapping when I did, where literally I just allowed myself to just express everything that was on my heart. And it all started with these journaling prompts that I'm about to give you. So these are a game changer and literally I should be charging for this video, but I love you guys. So I'm just giving it away to you because I really want to see you win. I really want to see you heal. I really want to see you happy and whole. So I know you're ready with your pen and paper and you're ready to go. So I feel abandoned when, and you fill in the blank. For example, in that example with my friend, right? I feel abandoned when I send someone a text message and hours or even days go by and they don't reply to me. I feel abandoned when that happens. And even just to say that on live, right? It's, I just like get tingles because I remember what it was like to be in that place. Right? It hurt just as bad when my friend didn't write me because that was someone I expected to always just like be there for me and respond to my messages. And it mirrored back and it made me remember all those times that I wrote guys and they didn't write me back. Or I wrote guys and they took forever to write me back. Right? So all of those feelings of rejection, of abandonment, literally rush to the surface when certain things happen, when I'm triggered, right? So my friend not writing me back, a guy not writing me back, triggers those feelings of abandonment and rejection. So in your life, if you're just like, I'm fine, I'm healed, I'm over what happened in my childhood, really ask yourself, how are you triggered, right? Where are there times where you're overreacting, where you're allowing your ego, right, to get the best of you, where you're just like freaking out for no reason? Because in that moment, I was freaking out on my friend unnecessarily. I'm questioning her. I'm asking her, why are you not writing me back? Because I thought I had healed the things with my father in my past. I thought I had healed my feelings of abandonment and rejection. I thought I had got better. I didn't even think that I could have those feelings with a friend. I didn't even think that a friend could make me feel that way. I thought that my friends were my safe haven, right? But no, here it was being mirrored in this situation. So it was my job to check myself and to say, Lakeisha, you were overreacting. Yeah, she could have wrote back to you, but she had a good excuse and she was going through something. And you need to respect that, and you need to give her some space. Respect her boundaries and give her some space, and take that time that she's gone to heal what's going on with you. So once I stopped chasing behind other people and trying to fix other people's problems, and I took the time to heal my own, to address my own, to identify my own problems, my entire life started to shift. And it started with journaling prompts, just like, I feel abandoned when. I feel rejected when. And literally, I wrote out, it was pages, oh my God, it was so many pages that I wrote out of all of these experiences that I had all the way back to my childhood that made me feel abandoned. And from that place, I started to feel like a weight was lifted off my shoulders, because I was no longer running from what was really bothering me. Because when you have a seed, right? When you, let's say you plant a seed, right? You plant the seed of doubt, you plant the seed. The seed was planted of rejection, of abandonment, right? My father planted the seed when he left my life. And every single experience I had after that literally just watered that seed. I just kept watering it. And it began to grow, and it began to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. That it was difficult for me to even see that people leaving my life was not about me. It wasn't about there being something wrong with me. It wasn't about Lakeisha not being good enough. It wasn't about Lakeisha not being lovable. It wasn't about Lakeisha at all, right? My friend taking that time to herself, that had everything to do with her, and her making sure that she's taken care of, and nothing to do with me. I was just a casualty because I messaged her. And I understood in that moment that someone isn't obligated to do certain things, and that expectations that I have for certain people, I need to figure out where they stem from, and if they stem from a healthy place. Because the idea that if I send you a text message and you have to reply immediately, or it means that you're not friends with me anymore, you don't love me anymore, is toxic. And it isn't me being a good friend. That's me dumping my problems onto other people. That's me looking for other people to save me. It's me looking for other people to heal the idea that I am lovable, that I am worthy, that I am worthy of you sticking around for. And that isn't other people's responsibility anymore, right? That was my parents' job, and things didn't work out as planned. But now as an adult, as a 29-year-old, it's my responsibility to say, to pull out my journal and say, I feel abandoned when. I feel rejected when. And fill in the blank. And whatever pours onto the pages, whatever comes up, just allow it to be what it is. And not take on all these things to mean that I am unlovable. Not taking on all these things to mean that you're not worth sticking around for. Because you are. And there are people in your life who want to be there for you, who want to support you. But you got to save yourself. You got to take the time, right, to really put forth to heal you. Because you can hire all the coaches, you can, get into the relationship, you can have the dream best friend, but ultimately, the most important relationship in your life is the one that you have with yourself. That will be your longest lasting relationship ever. Even the one with your children. You can be like, oh my God, but my children will never leave me, I'll never be abandoned by them. Your kid is like, going off to college or getting married and starting their own family and things like that. Is that gonna feel like abandonment? Is that, empty nesting syndrome gonna start to kick in, and you're gonna feel all those feelings all over again because you put all of your energy and your effort and your love into nurturing your children and not to nurturing yourself? When you were very much a priority, you were a top priority, you don't want to put that burden and that baggage on your children, on your friends, on your partner, on anyone, right? When it's your job to take the time to be isolated, right? To really just be alone with your thoughts and stop running from them. That's one of the things that I work through with my clients. I'm like, take a moment to really just sit with yourself. No TV, no phone, just sit with yourself and see what you're avoiding. See what's there that has been trying to come up. What feelings, what emotions are there in your body that you continuously stuff down by being busy, by being everyone else's savior, by trying to people please, by literally just distracting yourself with TV, with food, with alcohol, with sex, all of those things. Taking the time to be at one and at peace with yourself. I suggest you do it out in nature because that makes it even more beautiful. It really just allows, Mother Nature to nurture you, to take away all those, all that energy, all those beliefs and things that you're releasing. Mother Nature is literally just gonna soak it all up. A lot of the times when I journal, I try to go to the park, I take my shoes off, I place my feet flat into the ground, and I get to work. And I get to journaling. And when I cry, when those tears fall out of my eyes, I don't wipe it away, oh no, I can't cry. The crying is for the weak. No, it's okay. Me crying doesn't make me weak. It's beautiful. I'm purging. I'm releasing. And I let it happen. I let it all go. I let it be a natural thing that happens. If I feel the urge to cry, I cry. I do what my body feels called to do. And this practice right here is the stuff that is just made of pixie dust, because we don't ever really look at the things that made us feel this way, right? You don't really think about why you feel why you have feelings and fears of abandonment. You just know that that's how you feel. You just fear it, right? But you don't actually get to the root cause of those feelings. And until you do that, you can't heal. Until you do that, you can't move forward. You can't go to the doctor and just be like, I don't feel good and I don't know why. And they're going to be like, okay, but what are your symptoms? What's wrong with you? I don't know. I just don't feel good. Well, I'm going to need a little more information than that, right? So why do you have these fears of abandonment? Why do you have these fears of rejection? When you take the time to do that work and uncover that, honey, I'm telling you, you're going to feel 10 times fucking better. And that's what I teach in my EFT sessions. That's what I teach in my coaching, right? If you hop on a call with me, we're going to get down to the root cause of what's holding you back from living your best life. Because honestly, I couldn't manifest a man. I could not manifest a high quality man if I still had those fears of abandonment, if I still was carrying around those fears of rejection, because I was literally placing all of my hopes, all of my dreams on this man making me happy, on this man coming in to be my savior, on this man to right the wrongs of my father. And I can't put that kind of pressure on my partner. So the types of men that I was actually attracting were not conducive. They were unhealthy. They were emotionally unavailable men who ultimately played into my fears of rejection, who played into my fears of abandonment. And the idea that men walk away, that people leave me, that I'm not worth sticking around for, that I'm not lovable. Or if I am lovable, you're still gonna leave. You're still gonna find something better. There's still gonna be something better that takes your attention away from me. And me having those experiences and finally taking the time to do the inner healing work on myself. And I'm not saying that I sat there, I wrote this list one time and then, I was just like, Lakeisha, you feel amazing. Let's go and call in your husband. No, right? It was a constant thing, right? So literally I had a date night with myself. I think it was Wednesdays and I think it was Wednesdays. No, it was Thursdays because it was Shonda, night TV where I would literally watch Scandal, How to Get Away with Murder, and Grey's Anatomy, right? So literally what I would do was I would make myself dinner, I would light candles, and I would pull out my journal and I would write out all the things that I needed to do. If I didn't have time in the day to go to the park, I would write out everything, I would burn the list, drink tons of water, and then go relax and sit in front of my TV and relax and just let it all go. A lot of deep breathing, a lot of breath work went into that, a lot of meditation went into that, and it became a ritual for me. And it wasn't about me fixating on these experiences, but it was about me really identifying and releasing all the feelings that I had pushed down for so long, right? I had really bad posture back then. I used to always be just like hunched over. I felt like the weight of the world was on my shoulders. I really just felt like no matter how many people I was surrounded by, I still felt alone. I was alone in a crowded room. And it was very much reflected in everything that happened, everything that I called in, even the jobs that I manifested, right? I remember when I got fired from my job a couple years ago, and I was just like, oh my God, but I got fired unexpectedly. And I was just like, but I always do everything right. I go above and beyond for you. Like, what do you mean that it's over? What do you mean? And my job was just like, Lakeisha, thanks for all that overtime that you do. Thanks for working holidays. Thanks for, making all the customers happy, but you gotta go. And we're not gonna pay you unemployment. Bye, you're not allowed on the premises anymore. Thanks. And I remember like being on Indeed and seeing like my job up there, right? Like it was just that fast. I got fired, and by the time I looked the next day, my job position was already posted. I was disposable, right? And literally, even in that moment, I was just like, damn, I'm being abandoned. I put so much effort. I put so much of myself. I dropped out of college for this job. I missed out on family vacations. I worked holidays. I stayed late. I did so much for this job. And they were just like, deuces. Sorry. Thank you for your time. Actually, I don't even think they said thank you. They were just like, bye, girl. And even in that moment, that abandonment, that rejection that I felt from that job spiraled all the way from my childhood, right? Those same feelings that I had from my father, those same feelings that I had already been building up, right? So me getting fired from my job, although very much different from my father leaving me, I still felt like no matter how hard I tried, things could be taken away from me, that I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't worth figuring it out. I wasn't worth sticking around for. My job had just like tossed me out into the street. They didn't care what happened to me. They didn't care about my side of the story. They didn't care about anything. They just said I had to go. They were done with me. And that's how I felt in all of my relationships. So even though I was surrounded by people, I very much felt alone. And that's why I would claw at people, right? I would be needy, right? I had that clingy energy, right? So even though I wasn't the type of person who would just like blow up your phone 1,000,000 times a day, but if you didn't respond to me or if I didn't hear from you for a certain amount of time, I was very much that type of person. I would just be like, hey, did I do anything wrong? And I would be wrecking my brain like, okay, maybe I did something to hurt them. Maybe I should apologize. All of these things. I was going into people-pleasing mode because of those fears of abandonment, because of those fears of rejection. So ultimately, once I started doing the journaling work, doing the healing, right? Hiring a coach, doing tapping, doing breath work, doing all of these different things, I started to feel safer in my relationships. That now I don't worry about people leaving me because I very much understand that I am an amazing human being. And even if I do something that another person doesn't like, I don't just automatically assume that they're gonna leave. I feel comfortable and confident in myself that I am somebody who's worthy of you sticking around for. I feel comfortable and confident in myself that I am someone that if you walk away from, you have lost your mind. I am an amazing human being. And if you don't want me in your life, you're crazy to think that you can go out there and find better. Be it a job, be it a client, be it a friend, be it a partner, whatever the case may be. You walking away from me? all of this, this ray of sunshine, are you kidding me? You are out of your mind. And literally that's how I started to feel. But it started with me really addressing and getting to the root of my problem. Writing out every single week, I feel abandoned when? I feel rejected when? And burning it and literally just releasing it. I remember standing over the fire in my kitchen, literally in a crock pot, just like, I release and I let it go. And with every exhale, I release. And I feel at home, I feel safe, I feel secure. And now I understand that certain relationships aren't supposed to last forever. And now I understand that people making certain choices and certain decisions have nothing to do with me. Someone choosing not to write me back right away or taking some time for themselves has nothing to do with me being unworthy, has nothing to do with me being unlovable. It just is what it is. Because now I own who I am. I own my power, right? My inner goddess, right? Everything that I have to offer, what I bring to the table. I can see that now, but I couldn't see that before because I wasn't willing to do the work. I was afraid. I was afraid to sit there with myself and to sit there with my thoughts. So I tried to do all of these things. I tried to fix all of these other people and make all these other people happy, when in reality, I needed to make myself a priority. I needed to make me healing my shit, going through my stuff, a top priority in my life. And when I did that, the game changed. I had ended up getting a crappy job after I had got fired, and I realized that I wanted to be a writer. I realized that I wanted to find myself, that I wanted to find my purpose in the world. And me starting my blog led to me hiring a coach, which led to me realizing that I wanted to be a coach, which then led to me quitting the next soul-sucking job and moving to California, becoming a yoga teacher, now moving to Miami. Now I'm getting ready to move to Tulum, literally next week. And all of these things stemmed from me finally taking the time to do the inner work. I made myself a priority. I stopped running from the things in my past that scared me. I stopped running from the darkness. And I acknowledged where I was. I acknowledged all of the shame, all of the guilt, all of the rejection, all of the abandonment that I had felt within me. And I faced it. And I owned it. And I understood that the feelings that I had in that moment as I was writing that list wasn't permanent. It was just words on a piece of paper. And that I got to decide what those words meant and how they were going to affect my future. How they were going to affect the people and the experiences that I attracted moving forward. And the more I did that process, the more I focused on myself, the less and less it hurt. To think about my father, to think about the people who did me wrong in my past, to think about the needs that weren't met in my own life, in my childhood. It became easier for me. And that's why I became a coach, because I feel like, why should you have to go through that alone? Like, I don't want you to feel like, oh my God, all of these things have happened to me and now I'm just gonna like cry on the bathroom floor and drink myself until I can't feel anymore. No, are you kidding me? That's retarded, right? But I've done that. I used to come home every single freaking day from work with my bottle and I would drink all the time. And my cousin would be like, girl, is that just for you? And I'd be like, yeah, girl, I had a crazy day. But in reality, it wasn't even just about my day. It was about me trying to mask the feelings and the pain and the suffering that I had gone through. And me feeling like I was in this thing alone, that I was in the world alone. Despite the fact that I was surrounded by people, I was still alone in a crowded room. And when I started doing the reflecting work, when I started surrounding myself with people who were doing the work on themselves, it got easier. And that's why I'm here for you, right? That's why I created the Peace to Prosperity bundle, because I'm going to teach you how to do these skills for yourself so that you can come to peace in your life, so that you can call in abundance, so that you can live a prosperous life, so that you can feel good, so that you don't need to cope, so that you aren't clinging to the painful past that you had. So you aren't hunched over all the time. Literally, when I worked on myself, my posture got better because the weight of the world was no longer on my shoulders. Now people ask me if I got taller, but it's just because I carry myself a different way now, because I see myself a different way. Think about it like this. When you see someone who's depressed, someone, you know, who's having a rough time, 9 times out of 10, they're hunched over like this, their voice is really soft, their eyes are low, and they're just like, I'm okay. But someone who's happy, someone who's confident, their shoulders are back, their head is held high. Their voice, they project more. They speak louder. And not in an annoying way, but they literally, like, their projection is pristine. And you can tell the aura, the energy that they give off. It sends a completely different signal than someone who feels broken, than someone who's battling depression, than someone who's, you know, experiencing pain. And that's why I do what I do, because you don't have to experience pain. That doesn't have to be your life. Even though that may have been all you knew growing up, even though that's what you see your parents going through, even though that's what you see everyone else around you going through, I'm here to tell you that better, that more is available for you. That peace is possible. I am the happiest I have ever been. I just told my family I'm not coming home for Thanksgiving for the first time, and I'm choosing to do what's right for me, and that's move to Mexico. I'm choosing to just enjoy myself and really just focus on me. And that feels really, really good. And I'm excited for all of the adventures and the memories that I'm gonna create for myself. And I know that everything is working out for my highest good. Everything in my life is getting better and better by the day. And it's incredibly powerful, right? But it's because I wasn't afraid. I was ready to do the work. I was ready to get the results. I didn't want to keep manifesting toxic relationships and friendships and romantic relationships, even in a job, right? And now I manifest amazing clients, right? Now I manifest people in my life who feel whole, who feel complete, right? And if they don't feel that way right now, they're working towards that. They're working towards making that happen. And it's a beautiful sight to see. And my heart just warms doing this work because I know what it's like on the other side. I know what it's like to feel unworthy. I know what it's like to struggle with money. I know what it's like to just wonder, when is it going to be your turn? How much more patient do you have to be? When are things going to get better for you? When are you going to get lucky? I literally remember saying that all the time. I was like, when is it going to be my turn? When does Lakeisha get to be happy? Whew, man. Those are some dark days, but I'm here, I'm on the other side, I am in the light, right? We got to move through the darkness to get to the light. And now I'm standing in the light, and everything that I did, every tear that I shed was worth it. And I'm so happy that I did it. I am so grateful for the version of me from 3 years ago who decided to go on this journey, this self-love journey. And I feel amazing. And I want to be on this journey for you as well. So my EFT bundle, Peace to Prosperity, literally is on sale right now for $1,111. So literally $1,111, and it is a fucking steal for everything that we're gonna go over. I'm gonna get on the phone with you 3 times. It's 3 60-minute calls, and I'm gonna teach you how to tap if you don't already know. EFT tapping, we're gonna be tapping on meridian points, energy points in the body. So it's just like acupuncture without the needles. And we're gonna be releasing that energy, releasing that trapped emotion, right, within you that you've been holding on to since your childhood. And we're gonna let it go so that you can stand up tall, so that you can be confident, so that you can feel worthy, so that you can feel like the badass woman that you are. So no matter what it is that you're trying to manifest, we're gonna have a conversation, we're gonna figure out what your goal is, and we're gonna start taking the steps to move you forward rapidly towards making that thing happen for you. I'm gonna coach you, we're gonna do the tapping, we're gonna do some breath work, and it's gonna be incredible, and it's gonna be unlike anything you have ever done before. Literally, I was talking to my client the other day, and she was just telling me, like, she cried during our session, and she was telling me like how much lighter she felt as a result of the tapping that we had just done. And it's beautiful to watch, literally. And I just feel blessed that I get to do this work, that I get to live out my dream and help, you know, people feel even more beautiful, feel even more connected to their body, to their life, to their business. And I just fucking love it. So if you are interested in a coaching bundle with me for tapping, shoot me a message or literally just comment down below. Again, the program is Peace to Prosperity. You get 3 EFT sessions with me, 1 hour each session, plus homework, plus messenger support in between the calls. So message me if you're interested. I love you guys so much. And I love myself. And I look forward to talking to you. Mwah. Take care.